As police officers, we're human beings, right?
Just how he carried himself and his character just wasn't credible enough for me.
We're hoping that all hands will be on deck.
Another year comes to an end in Connecticut.
And we went through a lot, but at least we get some type of relief now.
All the highs.
And there's the buzzer. It's an even dozen.
And lows of 2025.
Don't want nobody to feel the pain what I feel.
We've seen a lot this year.
A clear day, you can easily see the skyscrapers in downtown Hartford.
Everything that he did just uplifted the community.
Bringing you all that has happened in your community.
Despite the loss and the heartache, the job of firefighting continues.
This program also depends on volunteers who help here in the clinic, but also assist in the rescue of animals out in the field.
Coming to the Crystal Mall and walking around with a pretzel and a handful of shopping bags.
These are the top stories of 2025.
In Waterbury,
in Milford,
in New Haven.
Our look back starts right now. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our year-end special. I'm Mackenzie Maynard. Tonight, we look back at our top stories of 2025, all the highs and lows of the year here in Connecticut. We begin in Farmington and New Britain, where police spent much of the fall investigating the death of 11-year-old Jacqueline Mimi Torres Garcia, whose body was found behind a New Britain home in October. News 8's Dennis House spoke with members of the Farmington Police Department about what really happened in this tragedy.
With an understandably grim demeanor, Chief Paul Melanson led the news conference a few weeks ago when we first learned the horrifying details about the life and death of the 11-year-old called Mimi. She'd been starved, beaten, restrained, and when she died, weighed only 27 pounds. The details were even difficult for this experienced cop to digest.
First and foremost, as police officers, we're human beings, right? We're fathers, brothers, mothers, sisters, daughters. And when you look at this case and you look at what people can do to other people, it really is troubling, because at the end of the day, we have to keep our composure.
She was tied up on a pee pad, was one of the things I believe that they talked about. And it's just, we don't see this on the news all the time. This is a really unusual, heinous case.
Yeah, that's the most difficult part about this. I think it takes it to another level when you see that parents starved their child to death and then didn't report it for a year.
This week, Melanson released video of his officers visiting the Farmington home of the suspects Carla Garcia and Jonathan Anita for a routine noise complaint a while back. Officers had no idea Jacqueline Torres Garcia was dead inside that apartment, her body stuffed in a bin. Garcia and Anita said nothing.
Those two knew that she was dead. Is that frustrating to look at that video now, knowing that?
It's frustrating to know that she had been dead when we started investigating this for over a year. When we finally got to the probable date of death, we're talking about over a year that they concealed this from their family, their friends, from the other kids in the house. Like, they were able to then keep their daughter, who was dead, in the basement. And so I will tell you, the officers, we did speak to the officers who did respond to that call, and they're beating themselves up. But the reality of it is, I think all of us know, those officers going to that scene were going for a noise complaint.
Sure.
Those noise complaints, we handle thousands of those a year.
I'm Dennis House, News 8.
This year, we have told you about a Waterbury man who was allegedly held captive by his stepmother for nearly 2 decades. He set a fire in his home to be rescued, with emergency responders finding him severely malnourished. That suspect, Kimberly Sullivan, was arrested. Here's News 8's investigative reporter, Jeff Tadarian.
According to police, Kimberly Sullivan is at the center of this house of horror in Waterbury. Her stepson, allegedly held captive for decades, weighing less than 70 pounds when he set the house on fire in February to finally make it to the outside world, detectives say. Sullivan's attorney filing several motions that were heard today, one having to do with releasing the victim's alias that he's using and also where he's now being treated. The state saying strongly the victim is, quote, terrified of Sullivan, and that information should remain private.
He's under an alias at a location that is not disclosed for his mental health.
The judge siding with Sullivan on this one, but warning her with this.
Specifically, Ms. Sullivan, I am telling you right now, you can speak to your lawyers about information they give you. You cannot speak to anyone else. You would be facing summary contempt charges. You understand me, miss? Yes.
Her attorney not holding back, saying all information needs to be released.
My job is to represent my client. Like, we should be talking about the law, not somebody's feelings.
Sullivan's motion to lose her ankle bracelet denied. It stays on for now. Her defense attorney says his client has no intentions to go anywhere near the victim.
So will you tell her do not contact him under any circumstances?
She knows that. She's not permitted to contact him.
Right, but the question is, will you tell her?
I don't need to tell her. She's not an idiot. She's not out there trying to reach this guy.
The defense attorney going on to say his client is innocent, using his words now. This is all a hoax, a witch hunt. So, News 8 asking.
So if she's not responsible, then who is? For what the state?
That'll all come out at trial. All I can tell you is this is not my client. No.
If it's not her, who is it?
Ask the state.
In Waterbury, Jeff Dedarian, News 8.
A tense back and forth involving the owner of a popular restaurant, The Place to Be, with Gina Laurie facing federal charges among other legal woes. News 8's Zuri Hoffman looks at the case.
33-year-old Gina Laurie and her attorney making an appearance at the Manchester Superior Court for her criminal charges stemming from writing bad checks. No comment today as she left court, but last week she had this to say in a sit-down interview with our Dennis House.
Let's talk about your arrest for writing the bad checks or the checks that came from a closed account.
Correct.
How did that happen?
I ran to the location. I grabbed the first checkbook that was on the desk that was already pre-stamped with my signature, which usually means that that's the checkbook that is accurate. I wrote it out of that checkbook and handed them off. And then I was told a week later that the account was closed.
The bad checks were allegedly issued to Restaurant Equipment Paradise, totaling more than $10,000. I sat down with the company owner just days ago. He says he tried everything he could to get a hold of Laurie, but heard nothing.
Have you talked to her at all?
No. No, when the checks basically were written from the closed account, she basically said she was going to take care of them right away. A week went by, 2 weeks went by, a month went by. I tried texting her, calling her. My general manager tried calling her. My managing director tried calling her. She ignored everything. I mean, even at one point we said that we would take the equipment back and just do a wash. I mean, I'm the type of guy who, you know, if she said, I'll give you $50 a week, I would take $50 a week from her. She was a long-term customer, but she never answered anything.
According to the affidavit, police say Laurie told them she was awaiting her credit from Blueback Square to pay back Restaurant Equipment Paradise. She owns a restaurant there and was trying to open a bakery there too. But according to court records, she was evicted for allegedly issuing another bad check. The 33-year-old faces legal troubles in other states too. News 8 learned that Laurie has been ordered to pay more than $974,000 to New Valley Bank and Trust, based in Massachusetts, for failing to make payments to the bank. Zuri Hoffman, News 8.
A years-long case in Ansonia finally bringing some closure to the family members of Christine Holloway and Vanessa Morales. Jose Morales was sentenced to 65 years in prison in Christine's murder and Vanessa's disappearance now more than 5 years ago.
But I pray when your day comes, you may rot in the gates of hell.
An emotional day in the courtroom as Christine Holloway's family members read their victim impact statements.
He shows no remorse. Not one tear has come down his face.
All this monster does is think about himself. He is nothing but a selfish, self-centered, narcissistic piece of trash that should live with his life in the 8x8 cell.
It's been 5 years since Christine Holloway was found dead in her Ansonia apartment.
My beautiful, brilliant, kind, caring, spiritual niece was brutally murdered on 12/2/2019.
Christine's aunt, Anna Radinsky, helped her brother, Stephen Holloway, clean the apartment after the murder.
I thought to myself that perhaps the police took it to see if there was any evidence on it from someone else washing their hands. It was not until the trial that I learned that the pipe was removed with the garbage disposal and my brilliant niece's skull pieces were located.
Sharing she now has severe PTSD.
I have PTSD from the sound of garbage disposals now, and I jump out of my skin. I can't wash a pot after having beets for dinner because the beet juice in the sink reminds me of blood.
In April of this year, a jury found Jose Morales guilty of murder and tampering with evidence.
Is it your decision to not present a statement to the court?
Yes, Your Honor.
Morales choosing to not speak at the sentencing hearing.
Mr. Morales, you are a dangerous person, a significant threat to society, and you need to be removed from the community for a substantial period of time.
The judge sentenced Morales to 65 years, 60 years for murder, and 5 years for tampering with evidence, the maximum sentence.
Defined as life.
While this sentencing reflects justice being served, the family is still left with uncertainty.
Vanessa is still missing.
Former State Deputy Budget Director Kosta Diamantis was found guilty on all 21 counts he faced of bribery, extortion, and making false statements. He is now awaiting his sentencing. News 8's political reporter Mike Cerulli takes us inside the case.
Reactions to the verdict, Norm. Ouch. Ouch was the first word offered by Kosta Diamantis' defense attorney after the jury handed down guilty verdicts on all counts. The proceedings inside the courtroom were brief. Just after 11 in the morning, Judge Stephen Underhill calmly read each count, then asked each juror if they stood by their verdict. The 12 ordinary citizens said they did. Diamantis sat silently with 2 of his daughters seated behind him, the 3 of them no doubt contemplating the possible prison sentence which Pat has characterized as catastrophic.
Mr. Diamantis is facing a catastrophic sentence. He'll be lucky to get out of this with less than 10 to 12 years.
Defense attorney Ryan McGuigan has been observing this case closely. The former state prosecutor and courtroom veteran had a blunt assessment.
In federal court, they have a conviction rate of about 98%, so none of these things should really surprise anybody.
Judge Underhill has a reputation as a jurist who sometimes departs from the federal sentencing guidelines, ordering prison time that some sources have described to us as lenient. But McGuigan said the longtime federal judge might not look so kindly on Diamantis.
In my experience with Judge Underhill, he has an aversion to people who break the public trust, particularly.
Exiting the courthouse, the foreperson for the jury said she listened closely to the arguments on both sides. The government presented volumes of text messages and witnesses that they said proved Diamantis was using his powerful state position to demand bribes from contractors seeking work on projects he was overseeing. Diamantis said the payments he took from those contractors were for outside legal and consulting work. The jury didn't buy that explanation.
From my perspective, there wasn't enough evidence to support that those were consulting fees. He definitely said they were legal fees, but there wasn't anything to support that stance.
Beyond the direct evidence, the foreperson said she didn't find Diamantis himself to be credible. His decision to testify, she said, did not help his case.
I believe he hurt his case. I do think a person's character, how they carry themselves, and we could see that throughout, or I can see that throughout his testimony, even just sitting with, at the defendant's table, just how he carried himself and his character. Just wasn't credible enough for me.
As for the man who is now a federal convict, he was allowed to leave the courtroom with a promise to return for sentencing. He didn't want to speak to the press, opting instead to speed off as he awaits his fate.
I'm Mike Cerulli, News 8.
A court-approved $5 million settlement in the case surrounding Stone Academy and its owners after the state and former students accused the former school of unfair and deceptive practices. Former News 8 reporter Eva Zamaris has the story.
We heard from Stone Academy students and their attorneys outside of court. They say today is a happy day, knowing that relief is right around the corner.
The finish line is in sight for these former Stone Academy students who've taken legal action in the pursuit of justice and accountability. 2 years ago, the school abruptly closed its doors, leaving hundreds of practical nursing students in limbo.
It was a tough time. We went through a lot, but at least we get some type of relief now.
In Waterbury Superior Court on Wednesday, a final hearing was held about the proposed $5 million settlement in a lawsuit brought by a class of Stone Academy students against the school and its owners.
We respectfully seek final approval of this settlement, a resolution shaped by those who suffered the most, fought the hardest, and remained committed to achieving justice for the entire class.
We've learned this settlement would not only return money to students, but it also outlines measures to help students finish their education and professional exams. Attorneys representing Stone Academy spoke in favor of this settlement as well.
We encourage the court to grant the motion.
It's up to the judge now to review and potentially approve this settlement. We're told this would also resolve several matters.
It will resolve the case brought by the AG against Stone Academy, our case against Stone Academy and its owners, and the federal case.
Eva Zamaris, News 8.
Still to come as we look back at the last 12 months, the Plainville community honoring and remembering fallen firefighter Ray Morrow. Plus, a pair of massive crashes caused major backups on I-95 along the shoreline this summer. The Plainville community lost a hero when firefighter Ray Morrow was killed in the line of duty over the summer. His fellow firefighters and loved ones remembering his legacy of service. Here's News 8's Jeff Dadarian.
Under a sun-drenched sky, a sea of blue and tears, to say goodbye and thank you to Plainville firefighter Ray Morrow, killed in the line of duty last Sunday when somehow a piece of equipment broke off a truck. Today, Engine 4 from Plainville carrying his casket. Before we're done here, you'll see why that's important. Nothing, and we mean nothing, would stop retired firefighter Brian Rykowski, known on the job as Ryko, from being here.
Letting the frustration out, the hurt we had for it, because he's been a brother. Everybody knows everybody.
On the job 50 years plus, Ryko says it's his duty to be in the crowd today. The service focusing on Morrow's 35 years of public service dedication. His wife, Christine, sharing this.
Be kind, make memories, forgive others, and say I love you often. Tomorrow isn't promised. Live life to the fullest.
Firefighters from one end of the state to the other here paying their respects, not just for today, tomorrow, and the days after. This support is for the long haul.
There's a debt of gratitude that will never be repaid. This is the minimal effort that we can do, is to come together.
This is Engine 4 that was taken out of service to carry the body of firefighter Morrow. It will go back in service tomorrow because despite the loss and the heartache, the job of firefighting continues and must go on.
Ringing of the bells, a symbol of firefighter Morrow's last call for service to others. This public servant, one last ride on Engine 4 to his final resting place. And Ryko with these words.
You get a message to firefighter Morrow, what would you want him to know today?
We've got it from here. Thanks for your service, but rest easy, we'll get it from here.
In New Britain, Jeff Dadarian, News 8.
In March, hundreds paid their respects to Officer Gregory Swiantek, the longtime Yale police officer who died from a heart attack. Former News 8 reporter Brittany Schaefer takes us to his wake.
He's left a legacy of love and of service that will never be forgotten.
An exemplary Yale police officer for over 17 years.
Officer Swiantek was the best of us. He exhibited a degree of humanity that you would want from any and every police officer.
But above the badge, family and friends say Gregory Swiantek's pride and joy was his 10-year-old daughter, Remy.
We saw him every day at the bus stop. He really was her biggest cheerleader. That's what I think is so hard. You know, she's going to miss her dad.
The 47-year-old died last Wednesday after feeling sick during his shift. Yale Police Chief Anthony Campbell calling this a line-of-duty death, telling News 8 the cause is believed to be a massive heart attack. He says Officer Swiantek went on multiple high-stress calls that day, including taking an individual with several warrants into custody and backing up state police with an escaped fugitive. His captain sent him home an hour early after he repeated he wasn't feeling well. It was there that he collapsed. collapsed in his Guilford neighborhood, another place he showered with his love and compassion.
Everything that he did just uplifted the community. He and Remy would come and deliver flowers to the whole neighborhood and so many things. So he's going to be sorely, sorely missed.
The Yale and New Haven police departments are now rallying around his daughter. That showing of love and support was felt during his wake at the East Haven Memorial Funeral Home this evening.
Their family has gotten bigger. We're doing what we know Greg would do if he was here, and because he can't be here, we will be his hands and feet and put our arms around them, support them, and let them know that it's not just today, it's not just tomorrow with his funeral, that it's from this day forward.
Brittany Schaefer, News 8.
A massive mess on I-95 in Westbrook in early September, causing hours-long delays. Here's News 8's Jeff Dadarian with more on the impact of that rough commute.
In the sky above, our News 8 drone just before 8 a.m. showing the littered roadway. That's plywood from a flatbed tractor trailer spilling out onto both 95 north and south around exits 64 and 65 in Westbrook, shutting the highway down. Ibrahim Toma headed to work, then headed nowhere.
I should have been on track. I should have been here like 8:45, 9 o'clock. Usually it takes me like 10 minutes to come up here. Suddenly, but like before you know it, there's an hour of traffic ahead of you.
About 90 minutes after crash number 1, crash number 2, 95 south near exit 66, a box truck involved. All lanes complete standstill for hours. Traffic diverted off. Back roads, Google Maps and Waze. Oh yes, a must. Phil Marshall makes his living along these highways.
But it was gridlock. Everybody was stopped dead on the traffic. So I had to get off an exit, which is exit 61, and you go down to Route 1, and you can take Route 1. Oh man, you can take Route 1 as far as New Haven.
The plywood crash, bringing in inspection teams from the DOT to get a look at the Route 145 overpass for possible structural damage. And for this trucker, 2 crashes on a busy Friday, that is a roadmap to just try and stay calm.
So you got to basically look out. You got to look out for everybody. Let people get in front of you, because I'm a lot bigger. Slow it down for them. Let them get to where they got to go.
Jeff Dadarian, News 8.
A construction worker hit and killed while on the job in Greenwich this summer. News 8's Caroline LaCour has more on how the Department of Transportation responded.
Working along a stretch of I-95, 38-year-old Tremont Tucker was standing within a construction zone just south of Exit 3 in Greenwich. With the left lane closed, a car traveling southbound veered towards Tucker and struck him moments before 2:30 Saturday morning. He was pronounced dead shortly before 3. CTDOT Commissioner Garrett Eucalipto sending his condolences to Tucker's family, stressing how dangerous working on the highway is and how critical it is for everyone to keep workers safe.
So we send multiple units up to any incident on the highway to protect ourselves and any other first responders on the highway.
First responders with the Greenwich Fire Department say it's not uncommon to find them responding to incidents along this same strip of highway, and say they've noticed their fair share of speeding and distracted drivers.
Pretty amazed when you're sitting on the highway in a truck as big as we're sitting in, and you're blocking the scene for other crews, and a tractor trailer will come by at 70 miles an hour and we shake.
Deputy Chief Matt Brooks says this recent incident has him shaking his head after his own crew went through a similar scenario last summer when a tractor trailer hit one of his fire trucks.
If we were in front of the rig, it probably would have ended up killing us if we were pushed over and hit by the rig. So that was kind of a silver lining for where we were.
Injuring 2 others, Lieutenant Jason Duraka says he's still working through healing from the accident over a year later, despite Connecticut's slow down, move over laws in place to prevent incidents like this. He says the risks remain.
That's one of the most dangerous places that we operate on. You always hope it's not going to be you.
After another preventable accident, they, alongside transportation leaders, are pleading to drivers to slow down for those working along state roads. In Greenwich, Caroline LaCour, News 8.
Well, one of the oldest churches in the state has a steeple that's steeped in Connecticut history. We'll take a look at why it needs your help to stay standing coming up. It's one of the oldest churches in Connecticut with a historic steeple that helped land planes during World War II and hosted America's second president. Now it needs your help to be restored. News 8's Bob Wilson takes us to Weathersfield.
139 feet in the air in one of Connecticut's oldest church steeples. We're at the First Church in Weathersfield, Connecticut, and they're looking to save this magnificent piece of history.
The steeple is just the white part on top. The lower section, brick section, is the bell tower.
First Church in Weathersfield was built in 1761, before America was even a country.
Okay, so from here on up, it's secured because the stairs are going to get really narrow.
There are 7 flights of stairs to the 7 different levels of the tower.
Wow. In this box is a Seth Thomas clock from 1929, and it runs just like a grandfather's clock with a pendulum and weights. It has been upgraded to have motors on it now instead of the weights. We'll be upstairs in a minute to see where that just rang.
Up another flight of stairs through a trap door on the floor brings you to the church bell, which weighs more than 1 ton.
And this is the hammer that we used to strike the bell before.
A heads up would have been nice. That is loud.
This is the 3rd bell that's been in this steeple.
The next flight of stairs is more like a ladder, 20 feet straight up.
Yeah, so where are we? So we've just entered into the steeple. You'll see the walls are no longer brick. This is the wooden part. And you can see these beautiful old beams. They've been here since 1761.
A 264-year-old tight wooden spiraling staircase takes you to the top.
A clear day, you can easily see the skyscrapers in downtown Hartford. So you can see a huge distance. And when John Adams came up here in 1767, he said that it was the most grand prospect he had ever imagined.
John Adams came up these stairs,
Yep.
the same stairs.
He was part of the Continental Congress at that point. There are stories about World War II pilots returning from the war and using the steeple to line up to Brainerd Airport, which is about 5 miles to the north of here. So that was their beacon to come home on.
To restore the tower and the steeple will cost about $3 million, and because of the price tag, they're looking to fundraise outside the congregation.
Whether you're basing it on history, faith, architect, it's all right here, and there's nothing else like this. It's a unique building.
The town built itself around its faith. That was the kind of defining quality of the folks who first settled here, was their shared faith as Christians. And I think it continues to be a symbol within our own town of our faith.
So if you do make a significant donation, they say they will bring you up here. You can get a tour and you can walk where John Adams once set foot. In Weathersfield, Bob Wilson, News 8.
Our look back at the top stories of 2025 continues after the break. A 2022 house party in Shelton turned deadly, and this year, Raoul Valley was found not guilty of murder in that stabbing. Here's News 8's Jeff Dedarian.
Sorry, I know that it was also an emotional and all-consuming experience for them, the outstanding professionalism that they showed.
Even for Attorney Smith, you can see his emotions seeping through his words as he thanked the prosecutors for the job they did. As for the jury, Smith says they followed the instructions from the judge on how to decide this case. Raoul Valley, accused of stabbing 4 people during a fight over beer. 17-year-old Jimmy McGrath dies. 3 survive. Following a 2022 Shelton house party, we asked Smith when Valley heard those words, not guilty.
I think it was immense relief. I think it was also immense grief. There is not a part of Mr. Valley that has any joy or sense of celebration about that night.
The attorney says the self-defense road was the right one for his client. News 8 spoke exclusively with a juror who said they like that Valley took the stand. Was there ever a question? Did Smith weigh the risk of putting his client on the stand?
There was really no struggle. He was going to have to take the stand in a self-defense case.
The state had previously offered Valley a deal. Decades in jail, it meant.
There are a few decisions in a case that a client controls entirely and have nothing to do with trial strategy. One of those is how they're going to plead. So that was a decision that my client made.
Jeff Dedarian, News 8.
A tragedy at the New Britain YWCA over the summer. A 2-year-old child died after choking on food. The state looked into the daycare where it all took place. Here's News 8's Bob Wilson.
I want you to look me in my face. I want you to see my face. I want you to see my tears. Don't want nobody to feel the pain what I feel.
That was in July, just after Sante Reynolds choked to death on a meatball at the YWCA daycare. Now, 2.5 months later, the nightmare continues for the family. The Office of Early Childhood releasing their findings of the investigation. They found the YWCA didn't immediately call 911, didn't cut food into small enough pieces they need to be a half an inch or smaller, didn't supervise children while eating, and didn't remove toddlers from the area during the emergency.
That's my first child, and my first child is gone.
That was at the vigil, but now, the day the report was released, the family too distraught to speak about the findings. Instead, releasing a statement saying, quote, they relied on the YWCA to provide a safe and nurturing environment. While they continue to mourn the horrific loss of their son, they feel a profound responsibility to ensure the safety and well-being of other children and hope their son's legacy will lead to a meaningful change and ultimately save the lives of others. Parents picking up their children, reliving that day all over again.
What I heard of a story, nothing was really done right away, you know. That's scary, man. These are our kids.
I know for a fact that some of the staff didn't come back because they felt they couldn't, Now,
the parents we talked to were disturbed by the findings. They also showed compassion for the workers inside the YWCA. They said that's a difficult job, especially when the children are so young.
Concerning, it's sad. I do work in the health field, so I know people panic when things happen, even if you are trained. It's not an excuse.
The YWCA releasing a statement saying, quote, the YWCA New Britain takes the state's investigation very seriously. We have cooperated fully throughout this process and continue to work closely with our licensing partners to address all identified issues. Feel like it's safe?
I mean, like I told you, I'd never had issues before, but it's, still that inside of you.
Records show that a couple of months before Sante's death, the YWCA was cited for 7 violations during an inspection. In New Britain, Bob Wilson, News 8.
National and international headlines hit home here in Connecticut this year. We'll look at the impact of Hurricane Melissa in our state after devastation in the Caribbean. Hurricane Melissa tore through the Caribbean, leaving destruction in its wake. Jamaica was hit especially hard. As News 8's Caroline LaCour tells us, Connecticut's Jamaican community stepped up to help their families and friends back home.
As Hurricane Melissa makes landfall Tuesday, causing catastrophic damage, those here in Connecticut are left with the last messages sent from family and friends before cell towers went down.
The moment people can get on the phones, I know that they will, but right now it's a waiting game.
Azaria Tyler of the Jamaican American Connection says her mind is focused on her grandfather who lives in Jamaica. Unable to evacuate, Tyler is now waiting to learn the extent of the damage crossing her grandfather's path.
The house is boarded up, but the roof is the roof, And so we are very nervous and we're scared for him.
The nonprofit taking action to help in any way they can, starting by sending supplies. Thousands of pounds of donations from baby wipes to batteries are planned to be sent in plastic drums to those in the storm's path.
It's going to help. Every little bit helps. As we say in Jamaica, one cook a full basket.
The Jamaican community across Connecticut also chiming in. An emergency response meeting led by the West Indian Social Club is set for Wednesday to organize a task force for coordinating relief efforts.
We're hoping that all hands will be on deck, and we're hoping that everyone will come together as a family as much as possible.
The nonprofit Taste of Caribbean Arts and Culture CT also pooling resources. Coming back from a trip to Jamaica just last week, Assistant Executive Director Marcia Whittingham says she's praying for families she left behind.
The hurricane was supposed to actually hit Thursday, but it just lingered. Yes, it hit the island, but at least they had the time to prepare.
With thousands already evacuated to escape from flash flooding and landslide risks, others can only wait it out to hear from what family and friends are facing.
What does that look like? What are they returning to? So that is the scary part that goes through my head a lot.
Donations are being collected weekdays at the Schubert Theater in New Haven. Caroline LaCour, News 8.
For the first time in history, Catholic cardinals elected an American pope at the Vatican. Leo XIV was chosen to lead the Catholic Church. News 8's Mike Cerulli got reaction from Connecticut's Catholic community.
When you asked Bishop Juan Betancourt of the Archdiocese of Hartford what to expect from the new pope, his answer is informed by faith and a recent lunch he had with then Cardinal Prevost.
We talk about a little bit of everything during that lunch. It's gonna be very similar to the message of Pope Francis, right? He said, Pope Leo said, you know, like the arms of St. Peter's Basilica, the church welcomes everyone. And this is something that I trust, that I see that he will keep in mind, something that will be very important in his pontificate, to receive everybody. So that will be the message. Everybody is welcome into the church.
Bishop Betancourt's boss, Archbishop Christopher Coyne, told us those efforts to open up the church are paying off here in Connecticut. After years of declining attendance in the shadow of scandals, interest in the church appears to be rebounding.
We've been seeing significant growth in numbers. We've been seeing significant growth in the number of men entering the priesthood.
The Archbishop said that growth is driven in large part by young people.
Our college campuses, their chapels are so big for Sunday Mass that they've had to move out of the small chapels and into buildings on campus that are much bigger.
Alex Walton is one of those young people who has come to the church in recent years. He converted to Catholicism 2 years ago and is now studying for a master's degree at the Yale Divinity School.
I think the Holy Spirit is trying to work throughout the world and talk to people who feel lost or feel insecure in this new modern age, and I think young people are at the forefront at it. So I think God's working hard, and I think a lot of young people are trying to be open and make sense of the world, and they find a lot of love and fraternity in the Catholic Church.
I'm Mike Cerulli, News 8.
A look back at 2025 wouldn't be complete without a mention of the champs. We'll take you to UConn's celebration of a three-peat coming up. Three years in a row, we've seen the UConn Huskies bring home a national title in basketball. In 2023 and 2024, it was the men's team. This year, the women's team completed the Huskies three-peat. News 8's Brittany Taylor takes us to their parade in early April.
Fans decked out in blue and white, overcome with excitement and emotion as they got a chance to see their favorite players face to face as they arrived in Hartford.
Let's go Huskies! I'm so excited that I'm here too.
The champs and their coach Gino Oriema getting on the bus, throwing out shirts and mints before setting forth on the victory parade route.
I'm excited to celebrate the players, their victory.
The celebration was on full display Sunday afternoon, and it wasn't just people. Jonathan the Husky was there, along with his canine supporters.
We love Huskies before we moved to Connecticut, as long as we learned that Connecticut, the team was a Husky, so it was a just easy decision.
The sweet sounds of celebration for the women's 12th national title coming from all walks of life.
Who's your favorite player?
Paige Becker. AZ2 and KK, the whole team is just really awesome.
Those here inspired by the team's journey of resilience and determination.
They've faced a lot of challenges, obviously, with the injuries, but just to see them come back stronger and stronger each year has been incredible to see.
Look at this, the whole state has come out. We're so excited. They've shown such grit and grace, and 12 national championships. So exciting.
Go Husky, go Husky, go Husky.
And the excitement doesn't end. Monday is the WNBA draft, and of course, star player Paige Beckers is expected to be the #1 pick. In Hartford, Brittany Taylor, News 8.
For decades, the Crystal Mall in Waterford has served as a hub for holiday shopping. And now, as the mall approaches its closure, longtime shoppers are soaking in what may be their final visits. News 8's Caroline LaCour brings us there.
For many, this sound meant holiday shopping season had begun.
I mean, I was born in '97, so my parents have been taking me here. I can remember Christmas shopping here every year, school shopping.
Now the escalator and chandelier overhead anchor the final days of the Crystal Mall in Waterford. Shoppers say it's been a long time coming. Dwindling storefronts gave it away.
5-6 years ago, maybe. It's like one at a time, you know. Others tried to come in, but they never lasted.
Really slowly everything started leaving, you know. And you knew something big was happening when Macy's left.
Making room for Electric Boat to take over the space in the coming months. Folks say they're glad to see it placed in good hands, but the nostalgia still stands.
It's just kind of sad that it's kind of going down because it was kind of a hub for activity and stuff when we were younger.
It was.
Kids loved it. You could come here. It was safe.
After opening in the mid-1980s, coming to the Crystal Mall meant walking around with a pretzel and a handful of shopping bags in hand, with over 100 stores open at one point. But for those businesses still here, every customer counts.
It gets slow, for sure. I've had times where I can go out in the hallway and look both ways and there's nobody here.
At This and That Antique, store associate Ian Pierce says foot traffic picks up around the holidays, bringing in around 20 more customers a day than normal. But after the new year...
And we're going to move all this out of here and everything. It's going to be the whole thing. But, you know, we're kind of just playing it by ear.
General Dynamics officials say store leases will be handled on a case-by-case basis before the redevelopment. In Waterford, Caroline LaCour, News 8.
A Milford couple nearly lost their dog to a seizure in May, but that pup was saved because of quick thinking of the couple's other dog. News 8's Kent Pierce explains.
It kind of looks like these two dogs are playing, but what is happening with the smaller dog, Yogi, is actually very serious.
I came home to him being, blue in the face and having a really hard time walking and breathing.
Sarah McCardle checked the camera that she has for the dogs and saw little Yogi had a bunch of seizures. Yogi's been having seizures for years.
He never liked to be in a crate like we had, so he was in our bed, and that's when he first had the first one, and I didn't even know what it was.
The epilepsy was one reason Sarah and Craig were hesitant to get another dog, but once Reggie the boxer was in the house, Yogi got a lot better.
He got him going and moving, turned him back into a pup again, and he has saved his life in more than one way.
Including this past Tuesday. French bulldogs like Yogi have small snouts that make it easy to aspirate or breathe in their own saliva, especially during a seizure. On the video, Reggie senses Yogi is in trouble.
He rolled him around so he would get up and, cough to not aspirate and get the fluid and the stuff out and be able to clear his throat.
They got Yogi to the vet. He's good now, but Sarah and Craig know what could have happened.
If it wasn't for Reggie, moving him all around and being here, I would have came home to, him not being alive.
We know dog is man's best friend. Turns out they can be pretty good friends to each other, too. In Milford, Kent Pierce, News 8.
In February, a young seal was found on Chapel Street in New Haven. He went viral, and all the attention he received helped the animal rescue program at Mystic Aquarium. As former News 8 reporter Tina Detel reports, that extra look came at a crucial time for the aquarium.
This seal, now named Chappie by New Haven police, who found him on Chapel Street a little more than a week ago, is in fish school at Mystic Aquarium. The animal rescue program is hoping to get him healthy enough to be released back into the wild. And doing so isn't cheap.
For one seal, it costs on average about $10,000, but our program as a whole, if you think about all the different things we do, costs just under $1 million.
As a nonprofit, the aquarium relies on grant funding and private donations to pay for things like food, medicines, water testing, and even the electric bill. These rescuers are the only ones who respond to strandings along more than 1,000 miles of coastline in Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Fisher's Island.
Our operations are growing.
And when your operations grow, that's when costs also increase.
The aquarium is hoping to drum up more state support during an Appropriations Committee hearing in Hartford on Wednesday. It wants more money restored to its line item in the governor's budget, which is less than last year. Michael Finley says there is fear right now of the unknown.
There's also the possibility that down in Washington, D.C., we will not have the support that we have had in the past.
The aquarium is also pushing for the recently introduced House Bill 5385 in Connecticut to try to get specific support to the tune of $200,000 for its rescue efforts.
Looking to establish the Mystic Aquarium Animal Rescue Fund.
This program also depends on volunteers who help here in the clinic, but also assist in the rescue of animals out in the field. There are 600 of them.
But it's so uncertain right now with everything going on, so I think public support is going to be more important now than ever.
The hope is all the attention this gray seal is getting will mean more money for the program.
Cases like this are so unique and special because it really involves the whole community.
Which rescued him. In Mystic, Tina Dittel, News 8.
Thank you so much for joining us for our special presentation of our top stories of the year. We look forward to bringing you much more in the year to come. From all of us here at News 8, Happy New Year. I'm Mackenzie Maynard. We'll see you in 2026.